Hello, my treasures. It's time to embrace the chaos of Yogg DK. The idea behind this deck is to use the one unholy rune to give us access to Deathrattle, which will then get us into either the Primus, Yogg-Saron, or Hold Hound. Then using the two Frost runes to have access to some draw power and even more removal tools than running a pure unholy build. We also are going to use a very small weapon package within the deck using both Frostborn and Might of Menethil as a way to protect ourselves and steal key minions from our opponent. For the Mulligan guide, it is quite simple. Masked Reveler is the most important card to keep in your open hand. If you see any other minions, mulligan them away. Outside of this, you're going to be looking for early game draw power and early game removal tools such as Down with the Ship or Frozen Over. With that all being said, let's look at some games. Okay, time for a game against Druid. I wonder if this is going to be Miracle Druid. I know that deck's floating around a lot, and I really kind of wanted to cover it, but Blizzard has hinted at some nerfs to it, so we're not going to cover it, I guess. I think we're probably going to end up covering, like, Mill Druid, if I had to guess. I'm going to wait until I see what the changes actually are. Going to get rid of both of Might and Hold Hound. We can keep the Rune Forging just to keep it. Mulligan away one Hold Hound, get the other one in our opener. Why not? Okay, so the anomaly is going to be the old Yogg. I really do wish that could give us the signature version of it, because I do have a signature Yogg, and I really want to use it in something, and maybe once I do Twist again in a week or two, we might get to it, right? Let's put down Mosh Pit. Actually, we probably will. I'd assume I would maybe do Mage maybe on the first, for the first deck. I could be wrong. We'll see though. All right, they're just going to attack our face and then pass it back. All right, let's summon the two ads. Druid doesn't really have an easy way to deal with them. The reason why they're in the list is because we needed ways to generate the corpses for Mosh Pit and, really just Mosh Pit, right? In theory, if we got like Corpse Explosion off of the Primus, then that could also come up, but for the most part, really, they're just really nice bodies to have on board, because then you can also use them in combination with Masked Reveler in order to spread the Deathrattle to both of them, and they're easy to get rid of, which means you can easily get access to both Yogg and the Primus. This deck is all about getting to those two cards. Also worth mentioning, earlier versions of this list, I was using one Yelling Yodeler. Boy, oh boy, was that a mistake. It got cut out really quickly. We probably could have also cut out the Hold Hounds, but as removal tools and ways to heal yourself, it's actually pretty decent. Speaking of Hold Hound, okay, so the only minions we have left in the deck are Masked Reveler and the two that we want to copy as much as possible. Just going to shuffle these two in the deck, use the hero power to go face. It also is maybe worth mentioning that we could have maybe used Helia. Of course, they draw into it instantly. The reason why you might want to have Helia in the list is because then you could always make your, well, I guess it would be a total of 7 plagues shuffle infinite into your deck, but I honestly don't think it's worth like hurting the consistency. If you can actually randomly generate it off of other cards, then sure, go for it, right? Because Frost Strike can actually get Helia because she is a Frost Rune card. Oh wait, is she? I think she's one Frost, one Unholy. Don't quote me on that. Let's get rid of these gadgets then. Which does actually tell us that it is probably going to be Miracle. Miracle Druid is, I think, the only Druid deck that runs Gadgets in. It's a card that I am a huge fan of because it brings back a lot of good memories, but if it's going to actually get hit, then it's going to be a little bit sad. I'm assuming they'll probably make it a 7 cost or an 8 cost card, or maybe like limit the number of draws per turn you can get with it, or maybe like every third spell or something. I don't know. There's a lot of different possibilities that they could easily nerf it with, but I kind of just want to use this to get rid of it. And it also does reduce Yogg by a little bit. Speaking of Yogg, drawing into Yogg this early is not something I really want to do, but there's Masked Reveler. All right, we are burning a few cards, which is great. I wish we could have burned something a little bit more powerful, and that wasn't a plague that we had shuffled into the deck because I would have loved for them to take the 2 damage there. But I guess we are at full, so it doesn't hurt as much as it could. So they have the second gadget's hand. They're probably going to draw through the majority of their deck. I do really like the refresh that you can actually do. I know it's really frustrating to actually play against, which we're seeing them using it to its full advantage right now, but we do have a lot of ways to like easily abuse the gadget Sam because come on, get yeah, there we go. The Primus was guaranteed. Then we'll get a second Primus. One of these will probably use Runes of the Unholy just to put some taunt wall in front of us. Oh, Bone Shredder's actually a really nice card. We might as well actually just eh, we could do this too. Do a little bit more face damage, freeze them out, gets rid of the minion on board. Then we don't have to worry about them attacking. Life Gift. At least they're, of course, they're going to randomly generate the exact answers that they need for this because why wouldn't they? Whenever I'm running that card, it doesn't give me what I need. There's Frost Lotus Seedling. Okay, so both of the Primuses are dead. However, we do have Bone Shredder in hand plus Deathrattle, and we do have 9 corpses, which weirdly actually lets Masked Reveler number 2. I think we're going to use the Bone Shredder just because, yeah, and it also triggers that. So not 1, not 2 Primuses, but well, actually, it's just 2. Well, actually, no, it can be 3. Frozen over just to, I guess, mill them a little bit. I would love for some removal tools instead of just draw power cards. Let's see. Man, direct damage would be really, really nice right about now. Get that. Dead air is interesting. We don't really necessarily need it. I'm just going to put up more taunts just to be safe. Mortician would have been really great, but it is what it is. As long as they don't have Yogg in hand to steal one of our Primuses. Actually, I guess it doesn't matter too much because we don't have any minions with a large amount of HP. There's Funnel Cake. And speaking of Yogg, that's exactly what I did not want to see. We do have the second master. Oh, they're going to have 2 copies. Okay, they're going to take one of the Primuses, or are they going to take the second one? No, they're going to actually make us attack. Okay, that's a weird choice. It's a really weird choice indeed. I mean, we did get 2 more Primuses, so. And then I'm going to assume they're probably going to yoink one of the Primuses, right? Yeah. That actually wasn't a card that I wanted to burn just because I could have easily abused it later. Let's take the Yogg that can take another minion, grabbing, I guess, Yogg, because that Primus doesn't really do much, right? Though we could have used, there might have been a better way to deal with it. Because if we had taken the Primus, then we could have slammed down Masked Reveler, going into one of the Yoggs and then stealing it. Make them draw 2 cards that they can't use. Hope's End! Let's see if we can end any hope that they have. Come on, Yogg. Don't betray us. We have 3 of you on our board. Convoke the spirits, okay? Okay. Do process, aquatic form, draw 3, perfect. Draw through all that deck, please. Draw through it all. Mill yourself to death, please. Please, 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 please. Observation, Funnel Cake, healing us up a little bit. Solar Eclipse, Innovate, drawing. They're actually playing a card to draw. Okay, that's probably not the best idea, but it is what it is. All right, we have a few options. Okay, maybe we have a little bit less options than what I originally thought. They're going to mill themselves by quite a bit. We're well, they didn't they weren't able to finish off that Yogg, so we can just nuke their entire board, I guess. Perfect. Ignis is a little bit too late, my friend. Yogg definitely ended any hopes they had to winning this game. We're going to induce a little bit insanity on them. Wait. Uh the true crusade is about to begin. And goodbye. All right, time for a game against Warrior. Let's see what they have in store for us. It's probably going to be a armor gaining Warrior deck, if I had to guess. I do really want to try out a Grom OTK deck. That is something that I really want to try out. I know I made the initial like Enrage Warrior list variant of the list, but I honestly think maybe a more control style would be a little bit better, just because you could run things like from the depths in order to try to discount any of the key combo pieces. There's a lot you can do there. Let's just get rid of the one card, keeping everything else here. Death Growl actually is worse than the Hollow Hound that we had before, so I guess that might have been a little bit of a mistake. So we're going to be gaining coins every time we end the turn with nothing, which, isn't the worst. We're going to draw 2 cards. I would have preferred to make... Oh, of course, we're drawing into the Primus this early, which means only Yogg is in the deck for Masked Reveler. There are times when I really wish I was using Sir Finley, but that would just hurt the consistency of Masked Reveler, so we can't. I really wish we could, but we really can't. Speaking of Masked Reveler, I really kind of just want a hero power, go face, and then get the additional coin, because we'll be at essentially 6 mana. As long as they slam down a minion, we're good, right? Let's freeze them out. That might be a little bit of a waste. I would have preferred, honestly, to be able to use it later on. We're just going to hope here we don't draw into Yogg, right? That's the main issue. We also are very reliant on our opponent to slam down a bunch of minions. Though in theory we'll be at 5 mana, we could slam down the Primus and then I guess get a Unholy Rune. Okay, Frozen Over is actually... Now, do I really want to do what I'm thinking about doing here, or do we just want a hero power and then pass, basically? I'm honestly really tempted to just do this, yeah. I get it, we're not going to get another coin, and we're probably burning something. As long as it's not Yogg, we're good. There's armor up. First Rift doesn't really do much. Chorus Rift, okay, they're drawing an additional card. I do kind of wish we had the second Frozen Over right about now, just to try to maybe mill Odin. Odin is the main thing that we're worried about in this. Oh, Mosh Pit. Mosh Pit is exactly why I didn't do what I was going to do last turn. I backfired so hard. Okay, I guess we just slam down Masked Reveler. If they get rid of it, they get rid of it. Oh, they're not going to. Okay. Have a few different options that we can actually do. The good news, well, actually, never mind. I was going to say the good news is Masked Reveler should guarantee us the Yogg, but it's a 50-50 shot, I think. Let's use Death Growl number 1. Pop the Divine Shield. Come on, give us Yogg. It actually did. Holy shit. I I was not expecting him, to be honest. We also should have used the other coin there first. That's definitely my bad. And then can use Unholy Frenzy. Just get rid of another card in the hand. I know this will draw them into Odin, which is fine. I really don't want them to draw into it, but it's better than nothing. And then we get the additional Yoggs. 1 damage, that's fine. Draw a card. Discover a spell. Plague Strike, hitting one of the Yoggs, killing the Yogg, so we don't even get to use its ability. And then we're going to fill our hands even more. We could have also used one of the Plague Strikes, but we were running out of time. We played that a little bit risky. Now, again, this is one of those things where we would love to see, or not to see Yogg as a top deck, because Masked Reveler is just going to keep on reviving, right? Brawl. Of course they had Brawl. Of course, of all the cards they possibly could have had, it had to be Brawl. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, never mind. Well, I mean, we got a Yogg back, which is great. Oh, never mind. Yogg is gone. So, how are we winning this game? We still have the one Yogg in deck, which is great. We can draw a card, or well, I mean, slam this down, buff that up. Sure, I'll get a free minion. Of all the random minions it could have been. Oh, why did it have to be Eye of Chaos? I mean, that's not a bad card for it to be, but really, if you looked at the original theory craft that I had for a similar list to this, you'll know that I had Eye of Chaos in. It was a Blood DK list, but I ended up wanting to do something with Masked Reveler. It's been a long time since I have. Um, and the card feels incredibly strong in DK. I was actually trying it very briefly in a Yogg Shaman list. The problem is that there's no real reason to use Masked Reveler, and the only way that you're getting additional Yoggs is through things like cold storage, which feels incredibly bad to use on Yogg because it does also prevent him from using one of his abilities on the following turn. Don't get me wrong, it's not the worst option in the world and might be an idea that I'll revisit in the future, but I think, knock on wood, depending on how everything goes, well, this is of course Mondays, but I think Wednesday may or may not be a control warrior deck using Grom as the main win condition. At least that's the idea. I could be wrong. We'll see, right? All right, let's take a minion down with the ship, I guess. Or we could actually just go face with it. We should have attacked the other minion there, but we're going to heal up. I'm really worried about not Yogg, Odin. Odin of all cards could easily ruin our day. Well, they're gonna get too many. Of course, they got a dumb Tur. Out of all the possible minions they could have got. Okay, so we have a few different possibilities that we could go for. I think we're going to slam down the Primus. We could get rid of the 3/6 with the Primus, but I think getting rid of the 8/8 is better. Ooh, Sarfang actually is a pretty good option. Then we can freeze their face, preventing them from attacking. That prevents them also probably getting rid of the Primus for a turn too. The nice thing about Deathbringer Sarfang is this is one of those cases where his Deathrattle can actually come up. We don't have any other Deathrattles in the deck that we really want to make use of. So we can use Deathbringer Sarfang in order to give the Primus his Deathrattle, and then we have an additional copy of the Primus. It's a weird workaround, really funny workaround, something that I forgot about. I did try very briefly to make a Freebird DK list work in Festival of Legends using Deathbringer, but it did not turn out that well, so it did not see the light of day. I think we'll probably put the I mean, we can do some direct damage. Doing more direct damage is actually probably the best bet. I was going to say we could have probably also. Oh, I guess we're not going to even do the. Oh, we do have the down with the ships here too. Do some damage to their face. Rune Forge, grabbing either Might. Might is actually pretty good for later on. We do have 23 corpses, so we're actually in a really good position. And here is where we death growl. I almost forgot about using it. Of course, we're going to get 1 coin, and then we're going to get the 1 cost. If we had ways to actually buff it up in our hand, then it would be even better. But if they get rid of the Primus, which is going to be incredibly difficult for them to do, right? Because he has 15 HP. Like, that's not an easy thing to get rid of. We should be able to just loop them a little bit more, heal us up a little bit more. Then we also do have the 3 Plague Strikes, which may or may not be a good sign, right? Okay, they're drawing a card. Interesting. They're really looking for Odin, I'm assuming, right? Odin is the one thing that would put them back in the game, I think. They could attack our face twice, or they could, well, actually attacking into the Primus twice would be a mistake. Attacking our face is actually not a bad idea. And I guess they already had attacked once. Oh! I have a feeling that I accidentally leave Kelthus up. Where I really shouldn't. I will straight up tell you, I really should not have left him up, but hindsight is 2020, right? Because we can freeze them. Let's grab the Necromancer. In hero power, go face, do 1 damage, do 2 damages because we have a second one in hand, right? And then do we want to put up down the Deathbringer? I don't really think I do. Yeah, this is where I really should have got rid of Kelthus, but having 3 taunts up is actually pretty decent. Come on, just either wipe out our entire board or don't wipe out the board entirely. Please tell me that doesn't work with... Okay, oh, perfect. It still just does the 1 damage. That's good news for us. We're down to 15. Oh, hey, Odin. Speaking of Odin, I think Odin is a little bit too late there, my friend. Dirty Rat grabs Hollowed Hound. Hollowed Hound actually isn't a bad card for them to remove from our hand. Okay, they're attacking into the 1/3. Oh, that's bad. That's really, really bad because of Hollowed Hound. Hollowed Hound, oh, how are we dealing with that? Because that puts up another taunt. Minotaurin gives them a little bit of additional HP. How are we dealing with this? Oh, Masked Reveler. That is the perfect top deck. I forgot we had one more in the deck because what we can do, this is going to look weird. We can, well, do the 3 damage there. And then this is a little bit of a mistake. But let's use Masked Reveler, grabbing good old Yogg from the deck. We're going to rock out a little bit with their own Blighted Boar and just finish them off with an entire board of free minions. GG. Alright, now that we're through the games, let's discuss my final thoughts of the deck. So, this variant actually shocked me of how well it performed. Originally, this deck had meant to be a pure Blood DK route, since I hadn't done something with Blood DK in quite a long time. However, it turns out Deathrattle is an incredibly powerful card if you use it in combination with Masked Reveler and a very small minion count. This allows us to get multiple copies of both the Primus and Yogg-Saron consistently, thus allowing us to basically have infinite resources, which not a lot of classes can actually deal with. However, it is worth mentioning that while Frostmourne is in the list, it is probably the worst card within the list, as it doesn't come up that often because you don't have ways to heal yourself up outside of the Primus within this version. Overall though, if you're looking for a really fun Deathknight list, this is a perfect deck for you to try out, as it can actually win a lot of games. And like always, if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, bye bye.